the program. Of course, our very own Olamide Asikoro. It's good to have you. I mean, we're back with Banga.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Eka Wule. I can cover your when I did your master or my room of a son or Yaka one ring. All I'm as a quorum, your own lembade on local. Eka was sorry to see that Duruma, no holds barred.
Okay, yes, I mean, we've been away for a while, you know, for for that moment. All we were trying to do is ensure that we put some things together just so that you can enjoy what No Holds Bad has to offer in 2024. So Yusuf, we're back and we're better.
Yes, of course. And of course, 2024, No Holds Bad, promises to be mind blowing. We're going to be having guests that would blow your mind on the show.
Okay, so today on No Holds Bad, we have with us a mother, and she became a mother of 10 children. And you were asking, are these 10 children all own? Well, she will tell us how she acquired herself 10 children. How she acquired for herself 10 children, and just like you heard in the show promo, what would you do if you had to inherit your late siblings' 8 children? Care for your own widowed younger sister and a child plus your son. Now, for most, that would be a meal too large to consume. Today on the show, we have with us Kate Tanzamado. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to No Holds Bad, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Let's start off with your name. I mean, Kate Tanzamado. I mean, it sounds like it's not from here.
Of course, it's a Nigerian name.
Okay. All right. Let's get to talk to you about how you were able to acquire for yourself 10 children. I mean, I saw the video which for that interview you granted about the tragedy that befell your family, where you lost your brothers' wives to religious crisis, which of course made your life much larger. You had 10 mouths to feed, and one would expect that you'd be hanging by a thread. So, talk us through what happened. I mean, how did you acquire for yourself 10 children?
10 lovely children.
Mm.
So, in no chronological order, I will just take you through a short cut of my story. I come from a family of 8 children. My father was a military man, and my mother was a successful petty trader. So it's like they were a good team. My mother focused more on her business, but he, being that he has specific working hours, will come home and take care of us while she comes home late, like 7, 8 o'clock every evening. So we grew up closely bonded. We were a closely knitted family.
No, okay.
And we grew up that way. Went through school, got done with school, the older ones, and started work and all that. And now I've been in Lagos. And this fateful day we were working, so I had a text message. On the message they wrote, "Mommy, they have killed our dad." So I read it and I said, "What is this?" And I kept it. Maybe, I guess it was a shock. So about 5 minutes, I gave my colleague, I said, "Please read this text. What did I read?" He said, "Madam, what you read is what I read." And we read again, they killed your brother. So I called them, I found out what happened. They said, this religious crisis has started in the north a long time ago. They had different names. From Metacine, they metamorphosed into different names. So my brother was in Bauchi. He said their son ran home to tell them that there was a crisis in town and they were killing the Christians. And so they didn't know. My brother had a stroke. He was recovering. To cut the story short, they got into their house. They beat him up. They stabbed him, the tummy, and they slit his throat. The wife was there. So the wife experienced everything. And the children were hidden in the bedroom. And that was how he died. We made arrangements. The military were able to help us to go to evacuate his corpse and all that. But sadly, after the whole mayhem, we went back for his corpse. We were not given his corpse. I wish we were given his corpse. If we had buried him, we would have had a closure. So we never had a closure on. We don't know what happened to his corpse. That was in 2006. So what did we do? We settled the wife and the children on a safer part of Bauchi. But his immediate younger brother was a custom officer in Ijiroko. So he was shuttling Bauchi, Kafanchan, where we come from, back to Ijiroko. And I think he was braving it as a guy. For me, I was crying because, it was like they lit fire to my birth. All of us were grieving. He didn't take it easily. Within a couple of months, 5-6 months, he took ill and he never recovered. So 11 months in between, he died. So that left me with my two brothers gone within 1 year. His family was in Idiroko with him. Because of the distance, we relocated the family down to Gwagwalada in Abuja. 4 years thereafter, the wife took ill. These women never recovered from their husband's death. The wife took ill and she died. So I have a set that are fully orphaned. My younger sister is in Abuja, so her husband and herself took them in while we are thinking about what to do. We decided to move the other family in Bauchi down to Gwagwalada, now having just a wife. So we now brought in the children. So when I use the word I, it's because I now turned out to be the oldest surviving child, making most of the decisions.
Okay, but before you go further,
Yes.
you talked about the corpse of your brother. Were you able to retrieve it?
No, we are not given. The hospital
all?
didn't give us, yes. So that's why we never had
Did
a
they
closure.
did they state their reason?
No, nobody said anything to us. We are not given his corpse. So we just took it in good faith.
Okay.
So when we got the first wife, the one that lost her husband to Abuja, we moved all the other children in. So that made 8 of them into one house. So we are bearing, I have 2 younger ones that were already working. So we are footing all their bills. The other woman never recovered from the death of her husband because she experienced everything. She's either sick today, she kept on coming out of one sickness to another, but we just got her to be there to take care of the children. But one day she slept and she never woke up. So that made the children complete orphans, even no mother figure. That's about 8 of them. But prior to that, I have a younger sister, that's our last born. She married at 20. By 25, she was widowed. The husband had hepatitis, was wrongly diagnosed and lately diagnosed. By the time they knew it was hepatitis B, the very next day he passed on. Being the oldest, and she was 25 with a little boy, so she was the first person I took in with her son while she grieved, and we tried to find a bearing for her life.
Oh, this is quite touching. Real quick, let me, for those of you listening to us, we're live on Facebook at Jubilee 997 FM Lagos, and also we're live on YouTube at Jubilee 997 FM Lagos. Yes, subscribe, like, and of course you can get to follow all that is happening here in the studio. Much later, we're gonna open up the phone lines for you to, I'm sure you have 1 or 2 questions to ask as Kate Tanzamado, talk us through the tragedies that befell a family, having to lose her brothers and their wives to religious crisis, which of course made her life much larger. Once again, you can follow us across our social media platforms. We're live on Facebook at Jubilee 997 FM Lagos, and of course on YouTube at Jubilee 997 FM Lagos. All right, go ahead, ma'am.
So, as at that, the children were all there in Abuja. We couldn't have left them all by themselves. But my father's family, being the African tradition, whereby when the kinsmen will come together to want to sort out children. So they came together and said, you know what, everybody, these children are many, there are 8 of them. Let's split them. That was even before the first wife passed, the wife that passed on, the second wife passed on. They wanted to have the children amongst themselves so that they can help in caring for them. But I pleaded with them and made them realize that was a very good gesture. but it will amount to making the children worse off. They will grow up without siblings, without parents. So we agreed with the family that they can all be together with that wife that just passed on. Everybody can make their contributions towards the care of the child that are each taken. And they agreed to that. So that was how we are continuing until, unfortunately, she passed on. After she was being led to rest, the question was, what next? My going in and out of Abuja was not safe, was not cheap either. So we came to the conclusion that let the children move into Lagos with me because it's going to be cheaper and safer. You cannot be a mother by proxy. So I was able to get an apartment, considering the fact that I am married. Even if my house is a 20-bedroom apartment, bringing in 10 children into that home would change the dynamics of the home. So I got an apartment and brought them into Lagos. So my younger sister, the widowed younger sister, and her little son, she was older already. She was about 26, 27. So she moved in to stay with them. And they came in. And that was how life started in Lagos. We got into school. And since then, we've been in Lagos and living Lagos life.
Wow, that was quite a very, touchy one. I must say, I must commend you, say kudos, for braving all this, because even the strongest of men sometimes will not even be able to stand, all those challenges. But I would like you to, share with us what it was like, catering for 8 children and subsequently becoming a mother of 10 children.
So I have a biological child. So my life had just been me, my child, and my spouse, so just 3 of us. And when it now came up, my younger sister, the widow, and her son came in. The band was stretched a little bit this way. Then when I had to take in 8 more children, making 10 plus mine 11, the band was very, very stretched. I'm a civil servant, so you can imagine my minimum resources. It was really, really tough. When they came into Lagos, I had only 8,000 naira in the bank. My entire wealth on the face of the earth was 8,000 naira. But I was just more overwhelmed by making sure that I had all my children with me. It didn't matter. I just was convinced that there is a God that rules in the affairs of men and was going to rule in our affairs. And he has been ruling in our affairs. We've been drawing from the well of my 8,000 naira. It has not finished. My resources have improved, considering the fact that I've had a couple of promotions at work. So I'm not just with the fixed salary I've had. We have friends coming in. We have neighbors coming in. We have church members coming in. When they know, so, Kate, it must be really tough for you. I say, yes, it is. I say, okay, I have this money for you. Oh, I bought this for you and all that. And that's how we've been surviving. Then I've had a school that when I took them in, when they came, I got a school that had both primary and secondary school. The ladies in my church, I took the children there. And when I was done, I asked for the bill. And she looked at me and she smiled. She said, how many of these can you do? God has given you an assignment. So those of us around you, we should rally around you and see what we can do. So what I can do is take them in at no cost. So that was how I didn't have to pay for their primary school, secondary school, And we got into university. We got partial scholarships with some, but even the partial scholarship, the remaining fees to be paid are equally a bit high for the civil servant. But still, we are making it.
Okay, let's go back a little bit to asking this question. What killed your brothers? And has justice been served? Who would you say is responsible for the death of the other one?
That's a $1 million question you're asking me. Maybe you will help me to answer the question. With all that is going, you can see Lagos here. When you go, just say, hey, there's commotion, and somebody gets killed. Who do you hold responsible? when the whole city there was a mayhem in the whole city and they were just killing people randomly, right? So who do you hold responsible that killed the person? You don't know. Yes, it was a religious uprising, but you cannot lay hands to anybody. So you just take heart, and that's your fate. You can't hold anybody responsible. My other brother took ill as a result. It was practically just one person that got killed, but it had a ripple effect on the entire family. You know?
Okay. And for the wives, I mean, it was difficult for them to deal with all that happened. Did you at some point try to see if they could seek, I mean, psychological help, to help them, go through that period, because it was really difficult for them. And you also mentioned that it had a ripple effect. I mean, the brother died, illness, the wives also. I mean,
Maya Angelou says, if I knew better, I would have done better. It's the much I knew that I could do. Don't forget that I'm the immediate younger sister. I was dealing with the same trauma the wives were dealing with. I had to work to bring resources for them to take care of the children and all that. If I knew that, I actually didn't know that they needed therapy. Until like 4 years ago, I realized I needed therapy. I had to go for therapy myself to heal. And it was after the therapy I had that I realized, I said, oh no, if only I knew these ladies would have gone for a therapy, particularly the one that experienced her husband's killing, that never recovered, either mentally, emotionally, or otherwise. But the issue is even this, even if I had even known about the therapy, would I have been able to afford it? Because I didn't have money. The little we had, me and my younger ones, was what we were using, running up and down and all that. And my uncles back in the village, I mean, how much money do they have? So, that's just it.
Okay. I know how these things play out sometimes when parents are lost and then kids are being the family come around and wonder, so what is next? How do we handle these children? Do we give them out to other family members or thereabouts? How were you able to convince your family to allow you bring in this set of 9 or 10, if I'm not mistaken,
including 10,
how are you able to convince them to allow you to take them in?
I just say that it was just God, because I just kept on praying and fasting and say, God, I need you to help me solve these children. So they had this meeting. We are all the kinsmen gathered. So long as you are a man, you are in that meeting from ages 18 to if you are 110 or whatever your age. They had a meeting and they took decisions over these children. And I'm a girl child, a married girl child. And come and tell them that they should give me all their kids. But I just spoke through one of my cousins. I said, I appreciate what they are doing, I'm taking it in good faith. But they should look at it. These kids have lost all their parents. And if they share them one into 10 different homes, at the end of the day, they will not have siblings. They will not know what the sibling relationship is. Let's give it a thought. Let's get them all together into one house. How will it be? At least they will still have their sibling ties and all that. And they went, oh, that's very nice. I think let's give it a thought. And that was how they bought into it.
I would want to ask, I mean, for you, when all of these happened and you looked at the fact that there were kids left behind and they needed to be taken care of, immediately, what came to your mind immediately? Because it's a huge task. It's a mountain of a task for you at that moment, because these kids needed to be catered for. So I want to ask, what came to your mind immediately, knowing fully well that these kids would need proper attention and care?
Nothing came to my mind more than knowing that they have to be taken care of. Whatever it takes, I was going to take care of them. My brothers were very, very close. We are quite close with my brothers. And I know that if I was the one that passed, my brothers would have taken care of my son very, very well. So I knew that I had no option than to take care of them. And my father was very particular. He didn't go to school. He did only standard 7. What do they call standard 4? And my mother just had basic adult education whereby she could just only read her Bible in Hausa and all that. So he struggled to send us to school, and he kept on saying that each of you will go as far as you can so long as I have breath. So he saw us through school and all that. And then now, with my parents gone, my brothers gone, if allowing these children thinking otherwise is tantamount to just allowing a destruction in the family. If I don't take care of them, when will there arise another set of bakos in the generation? Because these ones are going to waste on the street. And I didn't want them to get wasted.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take a pause. Usually on the show, the No Holds Barred show, what we do is it takes a different shape, not the regular kind of program where we just have it all done in English. But here we, allow for, Yoruba listeners to, have a good grasp of what we've been discussing here. So I would allow Asiko to, help us, summarize a couple of the things that you said. You've told us about yourself and how you had to acquire for yourself 10 lovely children. Asiko, you'd help us for the sake of our Yoruba listeners, do a summary of all that Mrs. Kate said so far.
Yeah, Yorùbá bọ̀ wọ́n ní ẹni tí ó bá dóko ẹnìkan rí yìí ni yóò sọ pé oko bàbá òun ni ó tóbi jù. Kákí gbogbo àwọn olólùfẹ́ tán láǹfààní àti gbọ́ wa ní ọ̀sán tòní. Màmá wa Kate tó wà nílé agbára. Ohun tí wọ́n ń gbìyànjú àti sọ lédè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì látàárọ̀ ọ̀hún náà ni bí wọ́n ṣe láǹfààní tó jẹ́ wípé ọmọ mẹ́wàá àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀gbọ́n wọn ó di tiwọn nìkan tí wọ́n ń ṣe ìtọ́jú rẹ̀. Bó lọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀hún ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀? Wọ́n ní ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti nígbà ìjà ìsìn lókè ọya lọ́hùn. Ẹni tó ń ṣe ẹ̀gbọ́n ọkùnrin tí àwọn oníjà ìsìn ó ṣakátá kò ṣakátá tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láàrin wọn tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ṣekú pa arákùnrin ọ̀hún lọ́dún náà lọ́hùn pẹ̀lú wọ́n ṣe ṣekú pa lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí wọ́n ṣekú pa tán ọmọ mẹ́rin tí arákùnrin ọ̀hún bí wọ́n ní kódà lójú ìyàwó rẹ̀ ní ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ajá àràbùkà náà ti ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ náà àwọn láǹfààní àwọn mú wọn kúrò lápá àbẹ̀ àwọn kó wọn lọ sí apá àbẹ̀ kan tó jẹ́ wípé ó tún ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ó tún ṣèjù tí àlàáfíà wà ńbẹ̀ kọ̀pẹ́ kọ̀ jìnnà kí lédùn ọmọ rẹ̀ kó ṣàánú fún wa látàrí ikú arákùnrin ọ̀hún èyí tó ṣe àbúrò rẹ̀ náà tó jẹ́ ọkùnrin Yorùbá ní tí ìfẹ́ bá ti wà láàrin ọmọ ìyá kò sí nǹkan náà á fẹ́ mọ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ á máa fara wọn lọ́wọ́ lóní tẹ̀ǹtẹ́ ni arákùnrin òun náà tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní rí àwọn àpẹẹrẹ oríṣiríṣi ká má bàa fọ̀rọ̀gùn òun náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ó jáde láyé ọkù ìyàwó tiẹ̀ náà ọ̀rọ̀ bí ò lọ ìyàwó kìíní òun náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ó tún gba èkúrú jẹ lọ́wọ́ ẹbọra arákùnrin ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì nítorí ikú tó ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó pọkọ rẹ̀ níṣejú rẹ̀ òun náà bá ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ òun náà lọ ó di ọmọ 8 nìkan nígbà tó wá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ màmá wa Kate wọ́n tún wá ní bí àwọn àbúrò tó jẹ́ ẹni ọmọ ọdún 25 nígbà tó wọlé ọkọ bíi 25 to 26 years nígbà tó yẹ pé ọ̀rọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ ọkọ tiẹ̀ náà òun náà jọ́ lọ́wọ́ bá ń pè ó sì ti lọ́mọ kékeré lọ́wọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ó sọ sínú lẹ́nu ó buyọ̀ sí ọmọ ti tó 9 pẹ̀lú àbúrò náà tó jẹ́ kékeré ó di 10 àwọn lọ́balọ́ba níjòyè wọ́n gbìmọ̀ gbọ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ ti rí báyìí ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ kí àwọn kó àwọn ọmọ yìí kí àwọn pín káàkiri kí àwọn ọmọ tọ́jú rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n arábìnrin wò pé tó bá láǹfààní àti ṣe báyìí bó làwọn ọmọ yìí ṣe fẹ́ ní àǹfààní pé ẹ̀gbọ́n mi rèé àbúrò mi rèé ìfẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n sí àbúrò ìfẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ sí ọ̀rẹ́ pé bó ló ṣe fẹ́ wà gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ ìyá ìfẹ́ ọmọ ìyá láàrin àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké wọ́n rawọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ pé kí àwọn lọ́balọ́ba kan jọ̀ọ́ kan gba àwọn láyè káwọn kó wọn wá sí ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó eléyìí tí wọ́n sì gbà sí wọn lẹ́nu mọ́ wa Kéètì wọ́n dẹ̀ tó yẹ pé ó kó àwọn ọmọ bíi 9 pẹ̀lú ọmọ tọ́lọ́wọ́n bá mi yọ̀ǹda fún wọn ó jẹ́ 10 sákóló tiwọn nìkan gẹ́gẹ́ bí òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba tí nǹkan ò tí ì rọgbọjá fún tọ́wọ́ ò tí ì rọrí báwo lẹ ṣe rò pé ó ṣe é ṣe báwo lẹ ṣe rò pé yóò ṣe rọrùn ọ̀rọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní di kìràkìtà àti jẹ àti mu ọ̀rọ̀ àtàtà wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbìyànjú ìrírí wọn lórí tí ọmọ ẹ̀gbọ́n ọmọ àbúrò tó di ohun tí àwọn nìkan tọ́ tí ò tiẹ̀ kí n wá kí n ṣe wípé ọkùnrin ó tún wá jẹ́ obìnrin ọ̀rọ̀ náà láti jọ́ láǹfààní àti pẹ̀kẹ́lò látàrọ̀ tó ti ń láǹfààní àti sọ fún wa lédè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ìrírí wọn ìtorí ẹ̀ ni pé kí ló ń kojú lénìí tó fẹ́ dàbí ẹni pé ìwọ nìṣòro pọ̀ sí lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ ìwọ nìkan ló fẹ́ mọ̀ ṣe tó bá farabalẹ̀ bọ́ bá gbọ́ tàn yìí ọmọ wípé ìrètí rẹ̀ ó pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Ẹ káàbọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
All right, thank you very much, Asiko. That was, how will I put it? That was well summarized. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome.
Kate, I'd want to ask, I mean, are you familiar with Yoruba? I mean, can you speak Yoruba at all?
The basic ones on the street.
Okay, okay, like what? Okay. Okay, before we go on a break, we'd like to remind you all that we are live on YouTube. If you want to follow what's happening here in the studio, we're at Jubilee 997 FM Lagos. Yes, that's our YouTube channel, Jubilee 997 FM Lagos. And we'll go on a short break, but when we come back, we'll open up the phone lines in between. So I'm sure, I mean, you're itching, you want to ask questions, you want to, find out how she went through all of this, or rather how she's going through all of this. The phone numbers are 0704 100 7997
and 0704 100 8997. You can also send us your text as well as WhatsApp messages to the number 0805 251 9337. And of course, just as Pascal said, you can connect with us on YouTube at Jubilee 997 FM Lagos. Click on the subscription button. You can also drop your comments as well, and we'll do well to that as well. All right, we still have Kate. The name is quite a tongue twist, but I'm not going to get that name. Kate
Tanzamado.
Tanzamado.
Are we pronouncing the name right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Good. Right, we still have her here. And of course, when we come back, we're going to be looking, delving more into her story. Stick around. Do not go anywhere.
Road networks, and we are not even satisfied with what we have done with the road network in Igodo Cotton, because we still want to do more.
To be frank with you, the government is not helping the situation, because it is the government that allow them, to come in even without doing the right thing.
Kò sẹ́ni tó máa wọ́ ẹ kiri sanwó ẹ̀ kò gbélé láyọ̀ àtàlàfíà. Kò sí òfin tó de landlord àti tenant àmọ́ sí tenancy law of Lagos State.
That's the type of people we are. We just have to adapt and go with them. But, like in the Western world, they willingly pay their taxes. Although here they will tell you they pay the taxes.
I've not harassed you. If I ask you to come down and open your boot, I have reasons to believe you might have things in your boot. It is not harassment. We need to get that clear. These are standard police practices all over the world.
Leaders, we have our roles to play. Then government and security agencies will now do their job. When the youths are trained, either in academics or in vocational training, they are engaged. The rate at which they will get involved in crime will be reduced.
Màá dẹ̀ fún yín because èmi dàgbà sínú ìjọba ìlú ọ̀nà. Màá fún yín ní àwọn àpẹẹrẹ. Ní mo rántí pé ìgbà yẹn tó yọ onígbòǹgbò kúrò.
No holds barred, enlightening the public. Enlightening the public.
Welcome to No Holds Barred. And today we have with us Kate Tanzamado, who has been sharing her story with us, of how she had to inherit her late siblings' 8 children, as well as care for her widowed younger sister, her child, plus her son. And it's been a eye-opening narrative, I must say, here, right about now. The phone lines are very much open. It's already buzzing. Anyways, 0704 100 7997 and 0704 100 8997. Let's see what we have online. Hello.
Hello.
All right. Hmm.
It brings me to say my own practice, my experience with kids to do the dentist has very well. While in service, I worked on such cases that took me to the remote parts of Nigeria, especially when the incident just happened. I went, like, if you understand, there is a place called Naka in Benue State. Now, after getting, if you go beyond after the Makoti, I took 2 hours on bike journey. So it's very remote by the river, so the river bank, very remote area that in fact is not motorable, even the bike. There are times you have to cross a tiny wood bridge across the river. So it's a terrible thing. You see the Dambua that I went to cover report. So when you see with your eyes, you really know that yes, these are cases that are very, very pathetic and calls for worry. Now, but my question is, how come, maybe there is a mystery about this, let's go back to the villages in the Naka, Benue State now. When I went there, you saw you said grace, no emergency grace of even babies and children that were hit by these people. Now, this particular situation, now I'm wondering, how come so they should look into it. And while sympathizing with her, so let's see that thing may be just a spiritual attack, or maybe somebody in the family or ancestral cause that has befallen that family.
All right.
Okay.
I feeling for the woman, let her just take her and continue doing her good work, and then people should help her.
Okay.
That is my the government should look into this resurgence of all these because I think all them terrorists, even though they want to hide it under the name of the guys of cyber war. So there is still some element, when you look at it critically, there is still element of sponsorship of.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Oris. Points well noted. Obviously, if you're going to call into the show, please, you just have only 60 seconds.
Let's try to make it short.
Let's try to make it short. Just go direct to what you're saying.
Exactly.
And, all right. So, I have this question I'd like to ask. I mean, with all that happened, was there ever a time when you had moments of regrets from your decision? Actually, when maybe challenges came up, maybe when it came to issue. I mean, we know how it is, to cater for just a family of 4, and then you have this large, number of people to take care of. But yeah, was there ever any time you sat back and said,
I wish I didn't do
I wish I
this.
didn't do this, or what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
No, not had moments of challenges, but it's just that it gets tough and tougher. So I just keep on saying, oh, someday I hope I'll get out of this. Of course, I knew that it was going to be tough. I mean, you had when they came in, the youngest was like 6 years. So you just that 6-year-old child we were given, 7-year-old girl. It was going to be tough seeing how to adulthood, not to talk of you having 10 of them, you have to take through university. I didn't delude myself in the fact that it was not going to be tough, but I've never regretted, and I still wouldn't regret if it repeats itself again. I mean, it has to do about my family's name. The scepter of my family is in my hands. So it's a battle I have to fight, and I'm in it. And I know I'll come out a victor.
Okay, and I think a victor is what you have been.
That is what you've been over and over again,
Yeah.
I must say.
I mean, so don't forget to live on YouTube, Jubilee 997 FM Lagos. And yes, phone lines are open for you to call in. And I'm sure, like I said earlier, you're itching, you want to ask questions. I mean, for you, it seems, I mean, to others out there, it might seem like a huge mountain to climb, but you are doing this almost with ease. Let's take this call. Hello, who do we have here? Hello. Hi. Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
Good afternoon.
Good
My name is
afternoon.
Shala Yakub. I'm coming from Abuja.
Okay, Shalaya Kub, welcome to the show.
I want to thank Jubilee FM for bringing this issue up to the public domain. Especially, I want to appreciate Madam, our guest, Mrs. Kate, for having such a large heart of facing the task with which divinity has placed on her chest to do. I want to appreciate her for not chickening away, for not running away from responsibility. Her story is pathetic, inspiring, and it's a confirmation of the fact that love is supreme. Kudos to you, madam.
Thank you.
Irrespective of how we're going to look at it,
Yeah.
for you to take it upon yourself to go this route is worthy of commendation. God will continue to strengthen you.
Amen.
Now, my question is this.
Yeah.
Why did you and the entire family give up on the process of getting the release of the corpse of your brother? And secondly, how do you manage the challenge of having to cope with youngsters, especially teenagers, when they come up with their age-related crises, non-compliance with instruction, peer pressure, school challenges, and all this? How do you manipulate? How do you swim this water? That is my question. And in conclusion, permit me to thank Asiko.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I start with why we gave up on getting our brother's corpse. So his corpse was taken to the hospital. And mind you, he wasn't only his corpse alone, there were several corpses that were taken to the hospital. So after the crisis, we went asking for his corpse. We are not given. As a person, I like choosing my battles. I had so many battles to face. I had my own emotions that were sore. I had the children to sort out and all that. And I didn't have the energy, or we didn't have the energy to go fighting for a corpse that nobody was there. We didn't have a face that was responding to us. But I just know that they must have been given a mass burial. So we gave up and we faced what we could face. I don't know whether it was the right decision or not, but that was the much we could do then. Back to the children. You earlier asked me if I have any regret about, excuse me, about the children. I think that's not the regret, but that's a concern. It's so difficult managing them. So before I came, it's an issue who used to wash plates. So when you wash plates, you leave the pots. The boys think that they are boys, they are grown up, they shouldn't be washing plates. And the girls feel, why can't they wash? Our issues of cooking is an issue. Who cooks? The boys feel that no, they can't cook. The girls say, why can't you cook? If you don't want to cook, it means you are not hungry. So you have all those challenges and all that. And sometimes I just pray and just hand them over to God. And God has actually been sorting them out for me. But it hasn't been easy, that I can tell you. Sometimes I just sit down and cry. And when I'm done crying, I feel better. Then we move on to the next issues.
Okay. I'd want to ask this question before Lamido coming to, do a bit of summary for us. I mean, while all of these was happening, did you manage to confide in someone while you're going through all of the things that happened at that time?
As a person, I'm not an introvert.
Oh.
As it did bite me, that's why I did talk. That's my life policy. But eventually, I had good colleagues in the office. They all knew. They stood by me. They encouraged me. My friends came. My church. I had social support all around me. And above all, like I did say, I realized at a point that I needed to go for counseling.
Oh, okay.
So that helped me heal completely.
Right, because it's good you mentioned counseling. I was about, going to ask you. All right, so did you at any time decide, because I knew you said something earlier on when the issue of counseling came up, when you said you realized later. So I wanted to ask, if you ever embarked, but good enough you said this. But then again, you have a son.
Yes.
And in all of this, seeing other people coming in to, for you to mother them, how did he handle it? How was the relationship like? Did he immediately adapt to this, or was it a process for him as well?
Because, having to share his mother's love with other people, it's one thing.
Of course, it was a process. Life is not a cast in stone. So when I initially told him that I'm going to come, he said, okay. It really meant nothing to him. He was just happy he was going to have people to play with. But when the realities were down, he now realized that, man, this is real work, having to share him. Because I remember when my nephew came to join him, when the little boy called me mommy, he said, excuse me, she's not your mom, she's your aunt. Don't you ever call her your mom, call her your aunt. Mom, this little boy must never call you mom anymore. And I will laugh. So while he's still struggling with one person calling me mom, then 8 people came. And by this time, he was overwhelmed. He got a little bit withdrawn to himself. But I had to make him realize that these were his siblings, they're his friends through life. Whatever he becomes tomorrow, when they call his family, they're the same people that will show up. If I raise them up, he will have a better quality of people that will show up. If I don't raise them up, they'll still be the people that will show up. And it means we'll have to be sharing his resources with them through life and all that. We went through it. It wasn't easy. For me, it was getting them on the same pedestal that was the problem. So I'm used to petting him, taking care of just him, then 8 of them now coming in. But we were able to achieve that. It wasn't easy for either of us. But eventually now, they are siblings. The guys, he's rolling with the guys, and life is well.
Okay, thank God. But let's also ask about the children that you had to, take care of. Yeah, to add to your home. How have they been managing with the pain of, losing their own biological parents? The trauma that comes with it. You said your brother's children, they didn't see it, but of course they heard. They could feel what happened on that very sad day.
Yes, they didn't see, but they were in the next room, like you said. They heard the shouts. They came out, they saw their father's corpse and all that. I'll be telling, I will not be saying the truth if I think it didn't affect them emotionally. Because sometimes I can't just place their actions. Quietly, I tell myself, these kids I would have loved them to go for therapy. But I can't afford it. That is the truth. I can't afford paying for therapy. So I hope someday, when I can afford it, they will go for therapy. Because they too may not know that they have some salient pains that are biting them off, that's affecting their actions. And so, I hope someday when I can afford it, I'll send them for therapy.
Great one there. So now with this, so what's the latest with all of them, the kids, in terms of where they are now in life? I'm sure they are adults, they're now grown. Some of them should be in the universities, or if not all of them in the universities. So what's it been like?
The youngest of all is 18 as well today.
Oh.
So I have 4 that have graduated from university and are working out of them.
Oh, nice.
I have one that was done with secondary school and said he was done with education, he's working. I have another that said he was not going to go. He wanted to get into the military, we couldn't get admission. So we just finished training as Rich Stacker, heavy duty equipment operator. And then I have 4 left. 2 are in year 4 in university, and the last 2 are in year 2 in the university.
Very great one there.
Interesting.
So if you sit back and, the times I know this happens, and you sit back, you probably look at them all together, or probably look at a photo of all of them. What would you say is your greatest joy from all of this?
They are my trophy. They be my trophy through life. I just realized that God gave me the opportunity of reproducing myself in 10 destinies. I wouldn't have achieved anything more than that in life. Though I miss some of the vain things I would have indulged myself in. But in comparison to lives and destinies, I think it's nothing compared to them.
That's right. Right about now, would allow Asikoro.
Before I allow Asikoro to come up with a summary, I would want to ask this question, Kate. Have you, at any time, or are you even thinking about, seeking justice for what happened on that Saturday in 2006?
What justice will I be seeking for? I just wish we should love ourselves, respect our differences, and learn to live in peace. Because at the end of the day, it's not just the person dying. What happens thereafter? That's just it.
Okay, so Asiko, I'll allow you to do a bit of summary here. I still have one last question to ask, but Asiko, just go ahead with summarizing all that you said so far.
ọ̀rọ̀ bíbélì kan ló sọ wípé nínú ayé ẹ ó rí ìpọ́njú ṣùgbọ́n ẹ tújú ká nítorí pé mo ti ṣẹ́gun ayé. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tí màmá Kate tó ti ń láǹfààní àjọsọ látàárọ̀ pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn tó ń pè tó ń béèrè wípé gẹ́gẹ́ bí obìnrin gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹlẹ́ran ara bó ló ṣe rọrùn láti rí wípé bùkátà tó jẹ́ bùkátà bí èèyàn 3-4 àwọn nìkan láǹfààní àti gbé. Lóòótọ́ wọ́n ní kì í ṣe ohun tó rọrùn lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà àwọn tó ń ṣe ará ilé ìjọsìn àwọn ará ibiṣẹ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ará àdúgbò ló ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ló jẹ́ wípé wọ́n jọ ń ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tọ́jọ́ ń láǹfààní àti ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ nínú ìwé kọ́bọ̀ nípa àwọn ọmọ ńkọ́ wọn ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ bí àwọn bá lọ káwọn tó dé àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké oríṣiríṣi ìjà ó ti bẹ́lẹ̀ láàrin ọkùnrin sóbìnrin ìwọ lọ gbọ́dọ̀ fọbọ́ ìwọ lọ gbọ́dọ̀ dáná èmi ò dáná ìwọ ò fọbọ́ igbá kan àwo kan. Wọ́n wá ń béèrè nínú béèrè tí Pascal béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn pé gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ọmọ yìí nígbà tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ àkọ́kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́dún 2006 lóòótọ́ wọ́n lè mọ̀ rí ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ń gbọ́ bí àwọn ẹni bíi bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣekú pa bàbá wọn bó o ni wọ́n ṣe máa ń láǹfààní àti rí tí kò fi pé ó ń ràn nínú ìwà àwọn ọmọ yìí wọ́n ní bí àwọn bá wò ó tí ò bá kí ń ṣe ọgbọ́n Ọlọ́run kò lè ṣeé ṣe kó mọ̀ fẹ́ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n torí Ọlọ́run ọba tó ti ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó ti ń yanjú gbogbo ẹ̀ òun náà ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yẹn wá ń béèrè pé pẹ̀lú bó ṣe rí yìí ìjọ níjọ́ kan tán ti rò ó wípé irú ìgbésẹ̀ tí mo gbé kí ló mú mi gbérù ìgbésẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn òrò wípé kí ló má wọn gbé bàbí káwọn kábàámọ̀ ìgbésẹ̀ tí àwọn gbé nítorí wípé àwọn rí wípé bí àwọn ṣe jẹ́ èèyàn kan Ọlọ́run fún àwọn ní àǹfààní láti rí pé àwọn túnra àwọn dá ní ọ̀nà 10 ọ̀tọ̀ míì láti lè jẹ́ nǹkan tó gbòòrò nínú ìgbésí ayé wọ́n sì ní wípé bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn èyí tó wà nílé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga ti wà ń bẹ̀ èyí tó wà nílé ẹ̀kọ́ gbogbo nìṣe ti wà ń bẹ̀ èyí tó kéré jù nínú wọn ló jẹ́ ẹni ọmọ ọdún 18 years tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo wọn sì ti ń láǹfààní wọn ti ń ṣe dáadáa ẹni tó wá jọ ọmọ wọn ọkùnrin bó ló ṣe láǹfààní ìbáṣepọ̀ àwọn ọmọ yìí pẹ̀lú òun bó ló rọrùn wọn ní ṣùgbọ́n ọgbọ́n Ọlọ́run náà ni àti ọ̀rọ̀ tútù bí àwọn náà ń bá sọ wípé ṣé orílẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ tó ń wò yìí o olùkọ́ rẹ ni wọ́n o ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ ni wọ́n o alábàárò rẹ ni wọ́n o bí n bá tọ́ wọn dáa tó bá dọjọ́ nǹkan ẹ̀yẹ rẹ àwọn lọ́ọ̀rẹ́ bí n bá sì tọ́ wọn tí mi ò tọ́ wọn nídàkejì náà bó bá tún dọjọ́ nǹkan ẹ̀yẹ rẹ àwọn ni wọ́n rè ṣùgbọ́n àwọn fi ọpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run pé jíde sáà táwọn ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí àwọn lẹ́nu ọpẹ́ lórí àwọn ọmọ yìí kì í ṣe ohun tó rọrùn máa ń padà sọ̀rọ̀ bíbélì ọ̀hún fi parí ẹ̀ pé nínú ayé ẹ ó rí ìpọ́njú ṣùgbọ́n ẹ tújú ká mo ti ṣẹ́gun ayé. Pascal.
Well, thank you so very much, Asikra. Man, I don't know if I could do that in my own language. Trust me. It's going to be plenty of work for me. Kate, I'd like to ask this question. What are the lessons that people can learn from your experience so far?
We should open our minds to life challenges. As we go through life daily, we don't know the challenges that will come our way. Mine is having to raise 10 children that are not mine. I don't know what yours will be. But whatever it is, open your minds to life challenges. And any child that comes into your space, whether it's your biological child or not your biological child, please raise that child. There's nothing compared to a destiny. We should love ourselves. We should have respect for human life. And above all, we should be grateful to God that God has opportuned us to raise our children ourselves. Because when you are dead and buried, whatever happens to your children is happening. You have little or no way of improving on it. So that's just it.
All right. Thank you very much to our guest, Kate Tanzamado. Tanzamado. All right. Thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for narrating your stories on the tragedies that you've experienced. With family, losing your brothers, your wives, having to raise beautiful children as well. Thank you very much. Thank you for being a beacon of light as well, not just to your family, but to the world at large. Like you said, about fulfilling 10 destinies.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Reproducing yourself in 10 destinies. Thank you. We really do appreciate you and appreciate everything. Well, this is where we say our goodbyes on this edition of No Holds Barred. Thank you very much, Sugarman, or shall I call you Pascal? Pascal, thank you very much for the translations for our Yoruba listener, and of course to amiable producer in person of Mrs. Yetunde Adibiaye Olawiyi, and of course the chairman of Jubilee of Honeymark Media, in the person of Mr. Yomi Adibiaye. We say a very big thank you, and we hope to do this again next week Tuesday. All right, so stick around.
We also want to say a big thank you to Precious. He's responsible for you being able to watch us live on YouTube. Thank you very much, and also to members and staff of Jubilee 99.7 FM Lagos, Kiki, Cecil, Lucius, and Tom B, thank you so very much. Also, Sean Barbara, everybody, Jojo Sam, I want to say a big thank you to everyone. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. Let's do this again next trick.
Radio that serves you with information across the globe and more to take you through your daily activities. Jubilee 99.7 FM, Lagos. We are your prestigious news, talk and sports station with unique programs and shows to entertain and inform you about happenings around the globe. You can listen to us via our mobile app on Google Play Store or via our website on www.jubileefm.com. Also, follow us on all our social media handles: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Thread and Twitter at Jubilee 997 FM Lagos. Jubilee 99.7 FM Lagos, because you love it.